Well, the wind won't be a factor. That's the word from down on the field. It is a gentle breeze of 7 miles per hour, 35-degree day. We could get some snow flurries, but from just inside the 20 yards. And we'll take a look at the offense led out there by Eli Manning, who is 1 interception away from his career high, but he's 5th in the NFL with 24 touchdown passes. And Troy, here they are. First time since week 7 that starting offensive line's been back together.
Shaun O'Hara has missed a number of games. Rich Seibert, who is starting today at his normal position of left guard, did an outstanding job during those weeks at center. They're making the switch to try to shore up the inside against this Eagles defensive front.
Here is Brandon Jacobs. Tap dancing and a penalty flag comes in. Jacobs a lot of moving around, only a 1-yard run.
Holding. Number 86, offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
They get Bear Pasco, who was taken over at fullback. Took over week 4 against the Chicago Bears, and he's been getting better and better.
Yeah, he has. That's him taking over for Madison Hedgecock there at the fullback position, and on the first play of the game, a nice call there by the official, seeing it, the hold on Ernie Sims. And I think if you think back to that last time these two teams met, one of the reasons why the Eagles were so successful against the run was because of the linebackers playing downhill like we just saw from Ernie Sims.
Penalty makes it 1st and 20. They stay on the ground. Brandon Jacobs with an extra offensive lineman in there. Sean Andrews, the former Eagle, a gain of just 2. It'll be 2nd down and 18 as Jamar Chaney makes the tackle. And Troy, he's got to be the guy you focus on as we look at this defense. The rookie takes over for Stuart Bradley in the middle.
Yeah, what a game for him, huh? He comes in and playing in a game against the division rival New York Giants for the NFC East division lead, and a very athletic guy, but he will be making the calls as Stuart Bradley did, and the Giants are hopeful that they can take advantage of some rookie mistakes here this afternoon.
On 2nd down, first throw from Manning. He's going for Manningham. Overthrown. Just a bit out of his reach. It was there, and it's 3rd and 18.
Well, the Giants come out. You got Asante Samuel. Remember, he had 2 interceptions in the game the last time these two teams met. He's been a thorn in their side for the last couple of years, and they want to take advantage of his aggressive nature. Mario Manningham on the outside just simply ran right by Asante Samuel, him thinking, okay, they're going to run a intermediate route. They have a chance down the field, just can't connect.
Samuel's missed the last 3 games with a knee sprain, so he's back today. And it's 3rd and 18. Manning with time down the sideline, overthrows Manningham as he tries the other side, and it's 4th down. A good start to this game for the Eagles defensively, and that penalty hurt right out of the gate.
Well, it did, and I think that for the Giants, if you look at the last 3 games that they have played, all wins, I understand, but they have not been good. In fact, they've been very bad on 3rd downs, and they have got to be better than that here today. A good defensive start here for the Eagles.
The rookie Dodge hits it. Pretty good punt. That's Maclin on the far side. Calvin was back there with him, and Jeremy Maclin will try to use his speed. Could not get around Diassi. The long snapper was the first guy down there, and after a 49-yard punt, nothing on the return and down to the field. Here's Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, Eli Manning told me before the game it is critical for them to get off to a fast start, even if they have to dink and dunk to do that. I spoke to Michael Vick before the game and asked him, well, how do they plan to come out? He told me that they want to come out fast as well. They have something big planned, and it does not necessarily involve the pass.
All right, Pam, and that's how they've started these games, with big plays right out of the gate.
Yeah, oftentimes it's on the first play of the game. They did it the last time these two teams met. They did again last week in their win over the Dallas Cowboys.
On 1st down, play action. Vick with pressure gets hit. Throws to Deshaun Jackson, incomplete. And Michael Vick, first play, takes a hit. And that's been a big part of this season for the Eagles, all these hits that Vick has taken.
Right off the top here, that he's able to come through. Like Deion Grant on the blitz, and that's what they did last time. And Michael Vick, coming off a game where he took a number of hits last week, and that's the one way that defenses now feel that they can try to disrupt some of Vick's timing.
On 2nd and 10, a blitz coming from Roll. Vick trying to get out of trouble. He does. Throws across his body. Intercepted by Webster. Corey Webster on the return. Avant brings him down, and an early takeaway by the Giants defense.
Well, they brought Kenny Phillips on the blitz. They do a good job of picking it up. The Eagles offensive line does. Chris Canty right there in the middle. He's the one who's able to get pressure, force Vick out to his left. Vick tries throwing across his body, and Corey Webster's cluing in the entire time. You see Deshaun Jackson tries to slow play Webster, not real certain that the ball was even coming in his direction, and Webster's able to undercut it for the interception.
So with that exchange, and after the takeaway, interception number 4 for Webster. Here are the Giants at the Eagles 42. Quick throw, and the first completion, it's Manningham. Manningham was a little bit iffy during the course of the week. Had a hip flexor injury last week in Detroit in that game against the Vikings, and Tom Coughlin, the head coach of the Giants, told us Manningham's got to play. He's the one guy that can run right through their secondary for us on the outside.
Well, he is the one guy, but they're also hoping that a couple of others will have some success doing it, and one of those being their tight end, Kevin Boss, because without Steve Smith, they lose an important guy working the middle of the field.
2nd and 4, and a completion to Hakeem Nicks for a Giants first down.
You know, the Eagles this year offensively have really started games off very well. And when Pam Oliver says, hey, the Eagles want to get off to a good start, well, they're used to getting off to a good start. That was a heck of a defensive start for the Giants to be able to come out the first possession, force a takeaway, something that they have been awfully good at all year long.
A blitz coming from the Eagles. Manning is in trouble and down on midfield at the 50. They're going to wrap him up. It was Moses Foku coming on the blitz, and all of that good field position taken away by a terrific play by the second-year pro out of Maryland.
Yeah, you're going to see him. He just works right around the edge, and they turn him loose. You know, so play action, and he gets a free run then at Eli Manning. You can bet that these linebackers throughout this game, a lot of these blitzes that we see right there from Moses Foku is really them trying to play the run. It's a run blitz, but in the attempt to play the run, they're right there then in position off the play action for the hit on Eli Manning.
What a big defensive play that was, a loss of 18. And on 2nd down, here's Ahmad Bradshaw trying to pick his way through that Eagles defense, and he picks up 7.
You know, 4 weeks ago, the Giants had some turnovers in that game, and the defense for the Giants is who kept them in it. In fact, the Giants had a lead there in the 4th quarter because they did not give up a lot of points when the Eagles were able to get down in scoring position. Right now, the Eagles were asked to do the same thing. They get the turnover. They have to come out onto the field right away again, and right now, because of the sack, they knocked the Giants out of field goal range.
Third down and 21. Eli Manning steps up. It's tipped in the air and incomplete, looking for Manningham. And it was Kurt Coleman, the rookie, who got his hand up and knocked it into the air. And so because of that play by Moses Foku, a loss of 18 on his first sack of the year, the Giants are pushed back out of field goal range, and a punt coming from Matt Dodge. Macklin is waiting deep. Deshaun Jackson typically returns punts. He sprained his foot last week in Dallas. Nose of the football goes down end over end, and a fair catch by Macklin at the 15. So the turnover doesn't hurt. Eagles get it now, 2nd time at their 15. No score. Michael Vick is coming off his first multiple interception game when he threw 2 at Dallas. First one since December of '06. Here are the last 5 meetings and the difference in the points per game, the takeaways. Already an early pick. Eagles have it for the second time. Chad Hall, first-year player out of Air Force in the backfield. Quick setup and throw, pass complete, and that's Macklin, who is spun to the ground by Terrell Thomas. Here's a game break. Here's Curt Menefee.
Big matchup in the AFC South. Colts and Jaguars, and Indy strikes first. Opening possession of the game, in fact. Austin Collie with a 7-yard scoring reception from Peyton Manning. And it's 7-0 Indianapolis, trying to hold off the Jaguars, who were, with a win, the division champs. Joe, Troy, Pam?
Yeah, so the other Manning, good start, 5 for 5. If the Colts win out, they win that division. If the Jaguars win today, they win the AFC South. High snap, McCoy. And LeSean McCoy breaks free. Shifts the ball to the outside arm and forced down at the 40 by Corey Webster, a run of 20. Perry Fuel, the defensive coordinator, told us point blank and without exception, LeSean McCoy is the Eagles' biggest weapon.
Antrell Roll, he has an opportunity there to make a play, and generally he's the guy who will make that tackle. He doesn't miss many like that, but McCoy, who has been on a real hot streak here in recent weeks, he's able to avoid that tackle and turn it into a nice game.
20 yards for McCoy. And Vick running to his left. Forced out by Goff. A gain of 3. Here are the backs and receivers for the #1 offense in the NFL. And this is not your father's West Coast offense. This is an offense that has big playmakers on the outside, and they are vertical down the field threats.
And they're all young. They're going to be here a while.
2nd and 7. Will Vick, he's a free agent to be. Handoff to McCoy. Stumbling as he got the ball, a gain of 3. 3rd down coming up. And now this defense, which comes in #2 in the NFL. They lead the NFL in takeaways now with 32. They're tied for the most in sacks with 39. And the group on the back end, and they play a lot of 3 safety sets. 3rd down and 4. Down. 4th down. Jason Pierre-Paul, the rookie, knocked it away.
Yeah, Jason Pierre-Paul, he goes up, an athletic guy, and Jason Peters, the left tackle, he does as good a job as you can expect from the left tackle. He blocked him so well that he knocked Jason Pierre-Paul off the ball, but Pierre-Paul had the awareness of knowing he couldn't get there, jumped up, got his hands up, knocks the ball down on 3rd down.
Sav Rocca will punt it. Will Blackman waits for it. Blackman has a little room in front of him, but he muffs it. Kick forward, Chase Blackburn of the Giants on top of it to save an early turnover.
Went through about 3 different guys, and the Giants benefited. They gained a few extra yards.
Off the hands of Blackman, through a bunch of bodies, and into the arms of number 57. Giants have it, no score. So far, the Giants have had 2 possessions, 2 total yards, and 2 punts. Here's Bradshaw, swallowed up in the backfield. Down he goes, and Foku, who had that sack the last time the Giants had it, made the play. A loss of 4. Here's the rivalry since 2008. Of the last 10 division titles shared between the Giants and the Eagles, and it's been a real good 7-year run now under Tom Coughlin. an even better 12-year run under Andy Reid, head coach of the Eagles. 2nd and 14. Bradshaw again. And Ahmad Bradshaw cannot get back to the original line of scrimmage. Jamar Chaney made the stop.
It looks a lot like it did the last time these two teams played. In that game, the New York Giants were held to a season low 208 total yards and a season low 61 rushing yards. And no one has been able to do that all season long. And the reason for that was the Eagles were able to get penetration into the Giants' backfield, whether it was with their defensive tackles pushing the guards backwards or they were hitting it with their linebackers. Today, we've seen Moses Foku in the backfield a couple times already.
It's 3rd down and 11. Manning with time steps up and throws. Hits for the first down. Nix. As he rolls into Eagles territory, a completion of 22 yards.
Well, they got Kevin Boss giving a little help there to left tackle David Deal on Trent Cole. And Eli Manning, he threaded this one pretty good. Asante Samuel looked like he was lurking in there as to whether he was going to come off of that. And the question is, was that a catch?
Yeah, that ball moved when the body of Nix went to the ground, but no challenge from Andy Reid. Over the middle, Bradshaw hit immediately. And that's Foku again, a gain of 3.
You know, I say that because Asante Samuel, as we talked about, the last game that he played was against these New York Giants. In that game, he had 2 interceptions, and he's a guy throughout his career, he will take chances and look in and clue on the quarterback. And anytime you're throwing to someone he's defending or even to his side of the field, you better know where he is, especially when he's in zone coverage. And that time he had a chance. Had he been a little bit quicker to come off of that throw, he might have been able to get underneath it before Boss made what might have been a catch.
On 2nd and 7, Nix is left alone and he drops it. Patterson got there late. And Hakeem Nicks was just standing, waiting, and couldn't make the catch.
Yeah, he runs a post corner route. A nice route. He's able to get Dimitri Patterson turned around, but you got to finish the play and then make the catch. It was a perfectly thrown ball. Just a lack of concentration.
Well, the first 2 3rd downs for the Giants, 3rd and 18, then 3rd and 21. They converted on the 3rd and 11 on what was a questionable catch by Hakeem Nicks. Now it's 3rd and 7. DJ Ware in the backfield. Manning throws to the sideline and the pass caught for a first down by Manningham. Somehow kept his feet down and inbounds. That's the call.
That's a nice job right there. It looked like he did have his toes down. Right there in the middle, Sean O'Hara, he got worked over pretty good against a 3-man rush. The Eagles still able to get pressure on Manning.
Here's Bradshaw. Good work upfield by Jaquay Parker. And a loss of 3.
Well, we've seen that just about every first down now here in the early going. The Eagles, or excuse me, the Giants have lost yardage on first down. It makes it extremely difficult, especially for an offense that has struggled coming into this game converting on 3rd down. Although they've been good here in the early going, you can't continually lose yardage the way the Giants have on early downs.
Second down and 13. Here's Bradshaw again. Right up the middle of this Eagles defense inside the 35, a gain of 6. This is an Eagles defense that has blitzed less and less the last few weeks. Defensive coordinator Sean McDermott said, well, that's because of who we were playing. We are still a blitzing team. They had just 7 sacks over the last 4 games coming into this one.
Yeah, I think Kevin Gilbride said, you know, they really didn't blitz us much last time, but don't fool yourself. This is a blitzing defense, and so we go into every game expecting pressure.
3rd down and 7. Here's a blitz. Eli Manning backing up as he lets it go. Flag down. Manning, touchdown to Manningham. And now a fight breaks kicks out around the 32-yard line. McKenzie was in the middle of it. We'll check the flag. Manningham got behind the defense for a 35-yard touchdown, and it looks like it will stand. Let's get the call from John Perry.
Prior to the pass being thrown, illegal contact, defense, number 23. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
Well, here's the route against Dimitri Patterson. He's been called for a few of these in recent weeks, and a good call, good throw, good execution. In the middle, Sean O'Hara, he's struggling a little bit here on the early going. We mentioned he's missed the last 6 games. He's been beat now a couple times inside, and has given up some hits, and he's given up some pressure on Eli Manning.
This is only O'Hara's 5th game of the year. He's had foot problems, a mid-foot sprain, and he's got his hands full. Dimitri Patterson had a handful of jersey. Manningham got behind him after getting away. 35-yard touchdown completion from Eli Manning, and the Giants strike first in this one. This is the first year of New Meadowlands Stadium, a facility that the Giants share with the Jets. And for the Giants, this is their first big divisional December home game in their new home. And so it's been interesting to hear how the crowd noise has been compared to the old Giants Stadium, something we'll keep in mind throughout the course of today, as the Giants lead it 7-0. Tynes kicks it away with Calvin on the return, and now he flips to Riley Cooper, and Cooper gets a couple extra yards. Jackson on the stop. Manningham with a touchdown. This battle in the NFC East. Giants lead by 7. On that Giants touchdown drive, they converted 3 third downs, including the 35-yard touchdown to Manningham. And now the Eagles have it. Michael Vick, the first 2 drives, has started 1 for 4 for 5 yards and a pick. McCoy gets it and goes right down. Kenny Phillips, first guy there. Goff was in on the tackle.
You go back and take a look at why that fight broke out. Right guard Chris Snee, and he's engaged there with
Daniel to Onesheim.
But anyway, Snee went back after him at the end of that play, and that's when the fight ensued.
Harrison now in at tailback on 2nd and 9. Good protection for Vick. And over the middle finds his man, and that's Harrison. A gain of 6.
You know, one of the things that the Giants are doing is they're matching up on the outside. Corey Webster will be going, as there's another scuffle out here, but Corey Webster will be going with Deshaun Jackson throughout this game. And on the flip side, Terrell Thomas, he'll be matched up with Jeremy Maclin. And that's something they also did in the first matchup. Now, what we've seen of the Giants defensively here in this game is they are playing 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive backs. They're bringing a lot of pressure, and they're hanging these corners out one-on-one without much help, although it looks like now going back to one-on-one here as well.
On 3rd and 3, pass is juggled and dropped by Avant. Aaron Ross all over him. Before the punt, let's go for a game break. Here's Curt Menefee.
Saints and Ravens involved in another big game today on Fox. Joe Flacco finds the tight end Ed Dickson, who was starting today for the injured Todd Heap, and he gives him his first NFL touchdown. Ties the game with the Saints at 7 apiece. Joe Troy-Pan.
All right, Curt, Saints who have scored 30 or more points for 5 straight games, and who are at the top of a wild card chase in the NFC. Will Blackman waiting for the punt from Rocca. And This one is blown out of bounds. We'll take a break. Let's see where they spot it. At the Giants 30.
Hi, I'm Captain Brian Lim. I'd like to wish my friends and family around the world happy holidays. Hope to see you soon, and best of luck, and enjoy the game.
And thank you to all the men and women who serve this country around the world, and welcome for all of you watching on American Forces Network. Watched by the U.S. military in 175 countries and ships at sea. It's 7-0 Giants. Starting at their 30, and the Giants have not been able to run the ball at all here with 1:50 left in the opening quarter. Here's Jacobs. Best of the day. First down as Brandon Jacobs carries for 11.
Just an off-tackle run by Brandon Jacobs. They come up with the pressure right over the center, but it's a slant by the Philadelphia Eagles, and they slanted themselves right out of the hole. You know, Brandon Jacobs, who has been running the football awfully well since he took over again as the starter, but last week still just 14 carries. He's not getting overworked and hasn't throughout this season.
The shotgun, Manning throws, Boss incomplete. Up to grab it and missed it.
Well, it was a good read by Eli Manning and had a shot right up the seam. Jamar Chaney, he had to navigate the throw over his head. Like he put it in a place where Kevin Boss had a chance to make that catch. Let's see here, he had to go up for it, but one that he normally makes. We talked about him a little bit last week, Kevin Boss that is, and he has an uncanny ability to make a play when it needs to be made, and those types of catches are the ones he usually makes.
To the far sideline, it's Nix, and a good play out there in coverage. Dimitri Patterson, solid tackle, a gain of 2. And it's 3rd and 8 coming up.
Well, now they're faced with another 3rd down, and talked about how they had to be better than they've been on this down to win this game. One, it keeps the ball in their hands and the ability to keep a drive alive and get points, and most importantly, it keeps the Philadelphia Eagles offense and Michael Vick over on the sidelines. Eli Manning came into this game as one of the worst rated passers on 3rd down, but he's been good here in the early going.
He's converted 3 straight. On 3rd and 8, just a 4-man rush, and it's batted into the air. Michael with the interception. Darryl Tapp got his hand on it, and Quentin Michael made the interception, and now each quarterback's thrown 1.
It's a great job by Darryl Tapp. We saw Jason Pierre-Paul do it a little bit earlier for the Giants. He basically did the same thing, but Quentin Michael, just a great reaction on his part and being able to make a nice play on that. That goes down as an interception on Eli Manning, but you can't fault the quarterback for that one.
For Michael, that's his 3rd interception, and as you said, a great athletic play just to come down with it cleanly. But it was Tapp who made the play. Eli Manning now has thrown the most interceptions across the NFL. It's another giveaway for this Giants offense, and that ties a career high, which was set in 07, a great year for the Giants. They won it all. 20 interceptions thrown by Manning. 14 seconds left in the first quarter. Vick to his left will pull it down and run, and he is shoved out of bounds, and a flag will be thrown. It's been an issue here, certainly in recent weeks. And Andy Reid has had to work officiating crews like a basketball coach looking for a foul with all these hits.
Personal foul, late hit, out of bounds. Number 54, defense, 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
And that's a good call. You're going to see Michael Vick is out of bounds when Jonathan Goff comes out and then shoves him again. I was going to say that, you know, you called it, Joe. Andy Reid has talked about it all week long, actually for the last couple of weeks, is how Michael Vick has not afforded the same quarterback protection as other quarterbacks in the league because of his style of play. That play there, any quarterback would have gotten that call, and it's one Andy Reid's been wanting for a long time.
Don Corneli, who works the sideline for us, took that hit from Michael Vick after the penalty on Goff. Eagles are moving in, down 7 after 1. Back after this from your local Fox station. As you look at the first quarter stats, the Eagles had 39 yards of offense in the first 10 plays. The last one, the run by Vick, good for 11 plus 15 yards on the penalty on Goff. So down 7. Here they are, first down at the Giants 19. Vick over the middle, hits McCoy. Inside the 15 to the 14, a gain of 5, and back to that penalty. And eventually the hit by Goff on Michael Vick, as Jackson was one of the intended targets.
Well, right off the turnover, the Eagles, they do what they like to do and try to take a shot down the field, and they were trying to get the ball down the field to Deshaun Jackson. I thought the Giants defensively really did a nice job in coverage. Corneli right there to get the shot of Vick as he came off the field on that personal foul.
Vick led with his helmet on Corneli, but no flag. Second down. McCoy. Good play. Antrell Roll. Gain of 1.
I like what the Giants have done here defensively. And Antrell Roll, this guy's just a complete player. I mean, he really is. He's a good cover guy. He's made the transition to safety. He's been excellent there. But he's as good a tackler as most linebackers, and Perry Fuel has got his group ready to go.
3rd and 4. Blitz from the Giants. Vick in trouble. Down he goes. Rocky Bernard from the middle. Antrell Roll coming up on a blitz. Phillips in there as well.
Yeah, he puts a move on Jason Peters, the left tackle. It starts like he's going to speed rush him over the top and then comes underneath him because he saw where Michael Vick was in the pocket. You see, he starts up, comes underneath. That's just great pressure inside, and they've been doing that with Antrell Roll, Deion Grant. They've been bringing secondary players throughout this first half.
34-yard try by Akers is good. And he's made 24 of his last 25. The interception by Quentin Michael. Vick and Andy Reid talk it over with the Eagles now down by 4. So 3 points off the turnover. Key play was the Vick 11-yard run and the penalty. 26-yard play by the end of it. And then Akers, who's been hot, having another good year. Good from 34. DJ Ware, who is a backup tailback, has kind of given the Giants a little lift returning kicks. And he'll get a chance to do it here from just outside the 5. Across the 25, knocked down at the 27. Next week, it's a doubleheader of the NFL on Fox. 49ers, Rams early, Redskins, Jaguars, or Lions, Dolphins, and then America's game of the week. The Giants, these Giants, the Green Bay Packers, or the Seahawks at the Bucs. Starts at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ford Fox NFL pregame show brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150, built Ford tough. Hope you join us next Sunday. Here's Bradshaw. Ahmad Bradshaw tripped up after a gain of 5. Let's go to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Well, Ray Rice and the Ravens are suddenly rolling on offense. 10-yard touchdown puts the Ravens on top of the Saints 14-7 early on in the second quarter. Joe Torrentan.
A lot of teams around the NFC paying attention to that, and it's a big game, obviously, across the AFC as the Ravens start the day game behind the Steelers. With a record of 9-4, Pittsburgh play later this afternoon against the Jets. They're 10-3. Bradshaw, first down. Out to the 40, wrapped up by Chaney.
Well, they do a good job on the inside. Sean O'Hara, who's getting his sea legs back underneath him. You're going to see him at center, and they work the double team here with his guard, but then he's able to get up to the second level. He gets on the rookie, Jamar Chaney. That's a nice gain. Jamar Chaney ultimately comes off of that block and makes the tackle, but not until they pick up the first down.
Getting his sea legs underneath him.
You like that?
After 6 games, you got to get your sea legs back. Don't forget that.
You got to get more than that.
On first down, Bradshaw again. Out near midfield, a run of 9 yards.
Well, they're getting that running game going right now. Inside, Sean O'Hara, and then the right guard, Chris Snee, seals it off. And they don't have the penetration that they had gotten both in the first quarter and then going back to the last time these two teams met.
That's 3 straight from Bradshaw. Now Brandon Jacobs back in the game. What a luxury. Pass caught by Beckham for a first down. Travis Beckham makes his 13th catch of the year. You know, you talk about this run game and how the Eagles shut him down on November 21st in Philadelphia. Total of 61 rush yards, and the 2 backs were just completely shut down, under 40 combined yards. But since then, Jacobs has taken over as the starter, and the running game is averaging over 180 yards a game during this 3-game win streak. Here's Jacobs to the 45, gain of 1.
Well, how about what offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride's had to deal with throughout this season, and now this is the second time that he's faced the Eagles somewhat shorthanded. Steve Smith didn't play the last time these two teams met. Of course, he's not playing again here today, and then with the shuffling along the offensive line, the injuries that we're aware of at wide receiver, it's hard. It's hard every week, first trying to figure out who's going to actually be able to play in the game, and then trying to formulate a game plan that can be successful, and he's been able to do that.
Blitz coming from the Eagles. Jacobs can't avoid it. Chaney makes the play in a loss of 3.
Both these defenses, though, are doing a good job, especially considering the turnover. You know, coming into the game, Tom Coughlin told us, Joe, that he felt very confident about the Giants defensively matching up against the Eagles offense. Last time they did a nice job not giving up a lot of points. They're able to hold Philadelphia after the turnover to just a field goal. The Eagles defense, on the other hand, when they had a turnover offensively, they hold the Giants to no points.
And it's 3rd and 12. Manning steps up, slides to his right, finds a man, Nix, first down. Coleman on the stop, but a completion of 15 yards.
Giants are kind of working that corner there. They've got Nix on the inside. He goes to the outside, and Eli Manning just puts it right on him. He's got a nice cushion. See Kurt Coleman, he's the safety who's in coverage, and Giants run a nice combination there for the first down.
Play action from Manning. That works when you have a good run game. And the pass complete. Manningham, he already has 1, and now another. Touchdown, Giants.
That's a deep curl route by Mario Manningham. Dimitri Patterson, he's playing soft. Pretty simple route. You just got to make that tackle. Nothing difficult about it. Easy pitch and catch there by Eli Manning and Mario Manningham. But Dimitri Patterson, who already got beat for the first touchdown, fails to make the tackle on this one.
Line drive kick is good from Tynes. It's 14-3. Eli Manning's got 2, so does Mario Manningham. 1 for 35, 1 for 33. Patterson missed him. Eli Manning celebrates. Battle for the top spot in the NFC East here in week 15. 14-3 Giants. Eagles have to get it going. And that defense, especially the secondary, trying to figure it out, pump each other up. Manning 10 for 16, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Manningham 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. Jorick Calvin on the return. Out across the 25. That's it. Tollefson on the tackle. 20-yard return. Let's see what the Eagles can do on offense. Down by 11. 14-3. Now the spotlight is on this Eagles big play pass attack. They do not have a completion longer than 7 yards. Deshaun Jackson does not have a catch. Starting at their 26. On the ground, McCoy. To the 30, that's it. Canty on the stop. Sports fans, we ask you to check out the all-new Fox Sports app. Complete sports coverage, scoring, video, and more in one sports app. And 100% free. Get it today on iTunes. 2nd and 6. Blitz coming, pass is caught. That's Macklin, and he is wrapped up a yard shy of a first down. Thomas with the coverage.
The Giants really haven't disguised what it is that they're going to do in this game. They continue to bring pressure off the edges, and Antrell Roll again on that play, and so they're really leaving these corners. Terrell Thomas, Corey Webster out on some awfully talented receivers one-on-one. You just wonder, okay, is Michael Vick eventually going to get enough time in the pocket to try to take a shot down the field? So far, the Giants have really done a nice job matching up and not giving them anything.
Deshaun Jackson in the backfield. They fake the handoff, and Michael Vick will work the sideline for a first down. Gets shoved by Tuck. No flag. A run of 9 yards and a first down, and the first third down conversion by the Eagles in this game.
Yeah, that was another close one by Justin Tuck, and just to be certain, he went over and showed Nick Cole there, number 59, that where the white line was right at the end of this play.
So Nick Cole was saying something to him on his way back onto the field. No flag. Harrison in the game, and he gets it. And a guy the Eagles picked up in season in a trade from the Browns picks up 3.
You're going to see at the end of that, Justin Tuck, he knows. I mean, they're going to certainly be as aggressive as they can when it comes to Michael Vick and get the hits. Andy Reid, unlike last week, was not running down the sideline wanting to get the call on that one.
2nd and 7. Vick faked it to the left side, comes to the near side, and McCoy swallowed up. Goff was out there first. Tuck makes the stop, a loss of 1.
Great team defense right there. First they were able to get a little bit of pressure inside, but then they rallied to the football very well. They had 3 guys there to make a tackle, and a third down here where the Eagles throughout the year have been very good. The Giants doing a good job getting off the field here in this first half.
Third down and 8, and they're all coming after Vick. Down he goes, Tuck with a sack. And Vick gets up limping off the field.
No, it really wasn't bad protection, but you're going to see Michael Vick. He starts to move that way, and he kind of runs himself into it. Had Michael Vick have stepped up in the pocket, he had a nice pocket there to deliver the football, but he ran himself right into Justin Tuck.
9.5 on the year for Tuck. Good punt by Rocca. Blackman in the 15. Good return. Out to the 38. 23-yard return. A season long for Will Blackman. Vick and Reed talk about it. Tuck with a sack. And the Giants defense is flying around here early. Giants have 159 total yards. Manning with 2 touchdowns. Manningham with 2 receiving. Bradshaw the top rusher so far. Manning to the near side, dropped by Nix. Hit by Patterson.
I'm going to go back and take a look at what the Giants are doing defensively. Here's Corey Webster. They're getting their hands on these receivers. They're doing a good job of disrupting the timing a little bit. Here's Terrell Thomas on Jeremy Maclin. And the Giants also, this time they lined Justin Tuck up on the same side as Osi Umenyiora. They've done that before, but you see, they're able to get the pressure then on Michael Vick. And a lot of times you'd say, well, the reason they're not throwing the ball more effectively is because of the pass rush. I think here this afternoon it's had more to do with the job of these corners and coverage.
Here's Jacobs over the right side on 2nd and 10. Picks up 2. One of the reasons why the Giants want to overload that side with all their talent, or at least the better pass rushers with Tuck and Umenyiora, is that Winston Justice is inactive for the 2nd consecutive week at right tackle. So King Dunlap is in there, and they are testing the right side of the offensive line for Philly. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and 8 here for the Giants. Eagles need to make a stop. Manning has a man. Hagan, 1st down and more. Derek Hagan has been worked more and more into the offense. 16 yards and another 3rd down conversion for this Giants offense.
Well, we talked about the Eagles are not blitzing as much as what they have at other times, but they dialed up the blitz then. The Giants, they just picked it up nicely. Eli Manning with a clean pocket. Derek Hagan out of football not too long ago. In fact, I visited with him before the game on the field, and he was pretty confident that eventually he'd get a shot. He said he worked out, was out there in California, still continuing to keep himself in shape, hoping that somebody would need a wide receiver. The Giants called, and here he is.
Here's Jacobs to the 40. We keep referencing the top 3rd down receiver, and statistically the top 3rd down receiver last year when he went to the Pro Bowl, Steve Smith, who was such a security blanket on 3rd downs for Eli Manning. Now Smith is out for the rest of the year with a torn articular cartilage in his left knee, and that's a big piece of this offensive puzzle not there for Eli Manning.
Well, we said coming in Eli Manning was going to have to play well in this game, and boy has he. He is throwing the ball and looking very sharp here in the 1st half.
2nd down and 6 down the middle of the field, and nearly picked off. Nix, the intended receiver, and Dimitri Patterson was there for what could have been another pick.
That's the one throw that Eli seems to have, each week, and he's throwing, off his back foot, and just when you're trying to throw a deep post falling backwards, that's hard to do. And Dimitri Patterson, who's been torched already a couple times for a touchdown, and he can't catch the ball for an interception, but that's one that he has to make. But it's one that Eli Manning should have never even attempted.
3rd and 6. Blitz coming. Bradshaw underneath, room to run. Good play call by Gilbride. 1st down at the 29. We're at the 2-minute warning, 1:56 remaining. Mouthpiece on top of his helmet. Who cares? First down, Giants for Ahmad Bradshaw. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. First down, minute 56 left. Each team with 3 timeouts remaining as Bradshaw takes it to the 25. And so far, you've talked about it, defensively, the Giants have shut down the big play receivers for the Eagles, and to this point, Eli Manning has outplayed Michael Vick.
He has, and he is playing very well, particularly on third down. You know, we talked about how important that was going to be, but the Giants right here, I mean, they got a chance to put the nail in the coffin here in the first half, go up 21-3.
Here's Hagan again with a first down inside the 15. And Eli Manning is starting to pick apart this Eagles secondary. That's good for 11. And a timeout is taken by Tom Coughlin and the Giants.
They've just done a nice job of converting on third down, keeping drives alive, and then, you know, Eli, with the exception of the deep post that he tried to throw, you know, he's been very sharp in his decision making, and, you know, Ahmad Bradshaw comes up, and that's the one area where Ahmad he really needed to improve, and he has, is in his pass protection. Of course, an excellent runner, and the fumbles have always been a concern. He could get better in that area as well, but it's an area when they lost Derek Ward, the Giants, that is, a couple years ago, they never addressed that third down back. But Ahmad Bradshaw has continually improved as a pass protector, which is so important for that guy.
Minute 20 left. Giants already up 11. Empty backfield. Manning over the middle, hits Manningham. And a gain of 4. And now they start to scuffle again. Meanwhile, there's an injured player down on the field. Manningham is slow to get up. And Nate Allen, the rookie free safety, is down and in pain. You see Manningham hopping around. Second down for New York when we come back. Well, Mario Manningham looks like he's okay trying to shake off a leg, ankle, knee injury. That does not appear to be the case for Nate Allen, who is the pick the second round that the Eagles got when they traded Donovan McNabb to the Washington Redskins. And after 2 big defensive injuries last week for this Eagles defense, now Allen needs help to get off the field. Here's that little scuffle that broke out between O'Hara and Mike Patterson. That ended with a couple of smiles and basically a pat on the back. But the big news is, after losing Stuart Bradley, the middle linebacker, with a dislocated elbow, and then their first round pick Brandon Graham with a torn ACL, now Nate Allen, rookie starter at free safety, is carted off with some injury to his right knee.
And Nate Allen has really had a nice rookie season, and they were really worried about him at the start of the season. He played so aggressively, was so intense. They were afraid he was going to burn out. I mean, it's a long season for anybody, but especially for a rookie. Don't know what that injury is exactly, and a great deal of pain, but he's been a solid player for this team all year.
2nd and 6. Manning throws, has Manningham. And on 2nd and 6, a gain of 3. Asante Samuel on the stop. Philadelphia had to use a timeout with Nate Allen down on the ground. So each side has 2 remaining. It's 3rd and 3.
I think you've got to be impressed with what Mario Manningham has done here in the first half, knowing that this team really needed a big game from him. He has provided that.
Giants have converted 6 of their last 7 third downs. Blitz. Manning off his back foot, incomplete for Boss. Well covered by Quentin Michael, who has an interception in this half. And so a hold there on 3rd and 3. Defensively for Philadelphia, they needed it.
They got the free rusher, and Eli, I mean, that's a good play by Quentin Michael, but Eli Manning put it right where he had to put it in order to give his tight end an opportunity to make a play. That's a good stop there by Philadelphia.
This to make it a 14-point game. 25-yard try by Tynes. It was now made 15 straight. And it's a 14-point game. Still time left, 48 seconds, and 2 timeouts for the Eagles before halftime. Tomorrow, Fox presents the only game show where you start with $1 million. The hard part is keeping it. 7 questions, $1 million. Will they win it all or watch it fall? The $1 million money drop. The week-long event begins tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central here on Fox.
Yeah, that was really a nice job there by Philadelphia defensively, only giving up the 3 points. I mean, you're looking at a 14-3 game. If the Giants score the touchdown there, make it 21-3 going into the half. That is going to be awfully difficult for the Eagles to come back from that, no matter how many big playmakers they have on the outside, the way that the Giants are playing defensively. Going in down 14, you can manage that certainly in the second half of this ball game.
So a couple of timeouts, and Michael Vick will be trying to get something started for this Eagles offense, which when they were handed an interception by Quentin Michael could only manage 3 points. Trailing by 14. Jorick Calvin waits for the kick from Lawrence Tynes. Chance for a return. Calvin from the 4. Little juggle at the start, and he can't make it to the 20. Jarris Wilkerson made the tackle. And a return of just 13 yards. Well, one of the best targets on the outside for the Eagles in their history, Harold Carmichael, 6 foot 8 inch tall receiver. Played for the Eagles from 1971 through 83. All-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, total touchdowns with 79. And that's him today. He's right now the director of player development and alumni, and a fixture on the sideline and in practice for Andy Reid with this young Eagles offense.
6'8", that's amazing. That's called no matter when he played.
So starting at their own 17. Vick's in trouble. Stays upright. And his legs gave out on him after he crossed the line of scrimmage, a gain of 1. Pressure by Tuck.
Yeah, they just came off the edge again with pressure and trying to sort through all that, but it's been consistent pressure by secondary players the entire half.
Here's Macklin. He makes a catch. The ball comes out. They're saying catch and fumble. Returned by Phillips. Any review would be a booth review. Michael Vick thinks that Macklin was down. There's the catch. The ball's coming out. Play was made by Terrell Thomas on the tackle. His knee is not down, and that ball is coming out.
Well, it's coming out, Joe. I think the question is, did he ever actually secure the catch? You know, there's no doubt that the ball was out before he goes to the ground, but I'm not so sure that he ever actually had possession of the ball. It's close.
It is close. And remember, the call on the field is catch and fumble. And we'll get a booth review, no doubt. They have to look at that. And Andy Reid's calling timeout, saying, how can they not look at that?
I agree with Andy Reid. I mean, how can they not? I mean, you're talking about a huge play here in the first half of this ball game. And the fact that he's got to call timeout to force a booth review is ridiculous.
So it's a catch fumble. Terrell Thomas has had a real good first half, along with Corey Webster on the other side as the one who made the play. That ball's coming loose before the knee is down. And I think you bring up a good point. The question really becomes, did he secure the catch? And it's all being looked at, any piece of that under the hood by John Perry if they go there. Mike Pereira, former director of officiating for the NFL, is with us. Mike, what did you see from back in Los Angeles?
Well, I'll tell you, Troy hit it right on the button here. What they got to look at is this a catch in the first place? And that's going to, you know, it is, if they see it as a catch, then it's going to be a clear fumble. But to me now, is he going to the ground here? Is he contacted before the second foot hits the ground, almost simultaneous with? Then you get into this whole process thing, Troy, and now that's what you got to look at. I think it's probably, you look at it, incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Mike, that you see as an incomplete pass, because a lot of the viewers, you know, there was an element of time to kind of take them through that as far as exactly what it is that they're going to be looking at to try to determine whether or not he had possession.
I think the main thing they're going to look at is he going to the ground? That's what they're going to take a look at. Now, if he's not going to the ground, then you get into this element of time. Did he have the ball long enough? And there's nothing that says necessarily anymore performed a football act, but it is this whole notion of, you know, did he hold the ball long enough? And here with the second contact with that right hand knocking the ball out, you know, I think you look at this, and when everything else, what you've leaned toward an incomplete pass, I think they need to look at this and make it an incomplete pass. And I agree with you. It should never have gotten to the point where Philadelphia had to call a timeout, if that's in fact what happened before they initiated the review.
Here's the call.
Reviewing the play. The play stands as called on the field. First and goal. New York.
So
Interesting
in that John Perry rules, again, an element of time. There was enough on the catch end of it, and then the fumble on the ball knocked out by Terrell Thomas. And this could be, I mean, this is a huge turnaround. The giveaway by Macklin, and now with 9 seconds left, 2 timeouts on the board. The Giants take over at the 8. Nix on the near side. That's where Manning goes for the touchdown.
Dimitri Patterson, I mean, you don't do this as a corner in the National Football League when you're backing up into the end zone. You look at the cushion right here that he's given Akeem Nicks. I mean, that's uncontested. The Eagles came into this game as the last-ranked defense in red zone defense. And on the first play after the turnover, Eli Manning comes back, works Dimitri Patterson again, this time with Akeem Nicks. And they get the touchdown.
This to make it 24-3 with 5 seconds left in the half. What a half by the Giants. In this battle for the top spot in the NFC East, the Giants, who lost on the 21st of November at Philadelphia, lead by 21. And they've just put up 10 points in the last 43 seconds. Dimitri Patterson, now that Asante Samuel is back, I mean, any decision by Eli Manning is leave Samuel on one side and go after number 23, and he's done it this entire half.
Yeah, it's been a tough 30 minutes of football for that young man right there.
7th start. He does have 3 interceptions since taking over for Ellis Hobbs, who on the 21st of November went down with a cervical neck injury returning a kick against the Giants. Has a bulging disc in his neck. It was a scary moment in Philadelphia. Thankfully, he's getting better by the day, but his replacement, and he had taken over before for the most part for Ellis Hobbs, but Dimitri Patterson has had a rough half of football here in New Jersey.
I'll tell you who's had a good half, and that's that Giants defense. They've been awfully impressive, going up such an explosive offense in the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have given them nothing here in the first half of this game.
And at some point, we need to talk about Perry Fewell, who is the defensive coordinator, first-year defensive coordinator for Tom Coughlin. They were together in Jacksonville. Fewell coached defensive backs for Coughlin with the Jaguars for 5 years. And after being with Buffalo last year, taking over as the interim head coach. Fuel has this defense playing at a level last seen when Steve Spagnuolo was coordinating the defense for Tom Coughlin when they won it all in 07. 1 second left in the half, and here is that catch and fumble by Macklin, forced by Thomas. And the very next play, Nix with a cushion, touchdown number 10 on the season for number 88. And there's Perry Fuel. Every time he walks out of our meeting room, you think there's a guy who is going to be a head coach, forget interim. And he is working his way toward that with a job he has done with this Giants defense. He's got the perfect mix of cool in the meeting room, and he gets hot on game day. And he has his Giants defense flying around, and they have absolutely shut down Michael Vick in this Philly offense, holding him to 74 yards, 2 sacks, 2 takeaways, and just 4 first downs. We'll come back on the other side of this break before the Visa halftime. What a half for the Giants. All Giants in that first half. And it is a 24-3 game. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Start the second half. The Eagles start with a ball. That's good news for Philadelphia because they have got to try and climb back into this game. Jorick Calvin waits for the kick from Tynes. And whatever Andy Reid said at halftime, they better come out ready here to start this second half. Not been able to move the ball at all on offense. From inside the 5, Jorick Calvin on the return. Pushes the pile across the 25. Still won't go down, and he's marked at the 27. Let's go down to the field and Pam Oliver.
Well, lots of bad news for the Eagles, including the score. They have lost safety Nate Allen for the rest of the day. As for the Giants, Tom Coughlin told me we have to keep them bottled up in this half, and that's why we play 2 halves. We have to keep this going. Back to you.
All right, Pam, it's a right knee injury for Nate Allen. That's on defense. On offense, the Eagles trying to figure out a way to move it against the number 2 defense in the NFL. Vick can't find anywhere to go, and now comes underneath to LaShawn McCoy. Good for 4, and so far Deshaun Jackson has been shut out.
No, and I think if you look at it, Joe, what the Giants have done against Deshaun Jackson is really just put Corey Webster on him. I mean, he has not gotten a lot of help. There has been very little safety help for either one of these corners, and that's what's allowed them then to bring the pressure off the edges, but the corners have done an excellent job.
This one's batted down. I believe Canty got his hand up and knocked it away.
You know, and the Eagles just have been unable to really get anything going and establish any consistency within their offense. Their longest possession there in that first half was just 6 plays.
And now it's 3rd and 6. They fake the inside handoff, and Vick is sacked again. Justin Tuck.
Justin Tuck, and then pick another one. I mean, there's a bunch of guys back there. Barry Cofield ready to make a play, and that's in addition to what's been happening on the back end with the secondary and the excellent job they've been doing. Been getting great contribution up front from this pass rush, as you would expect.
That's the 3rd Giant sack of the game. Tuck has 1.5 of them along with 5 tackles. Here's Blackman. Does not go down easily, gets it out to the 40, that's it. And Michael Vick has been bottled up and shut down. Unlike in any other game this season, the Eagles have played 24-3 Giants. Giants last 3 possessions, a touchdown, a field goal, a touchdown. They start with Jacobs. He carries it forward for 1. Trent Cole made the stop, and Michael Vick's done a lot of that. Palms to the sky, wondering what's going on. He's been sacked 3 times, and there is nothing going on in the pass game for Philadelphia.
It's a New York team that came into this game knowing the urgency that was before them. I mean, having lost to the Eagles in their previous meeting, this was really a must-win for the New York Giants. The Eagles could not clinch the division, but for all practical purposes, they would have or would if they win this game.
Here's Bradshaw. Out to midfield, a yard shy of a first down. Parker on the tackle.
I just think the Giants on both sides of the ball, whether it be defense and the way that they've dominated this ball game, and then offensively, you know, the early going, had the interception, didn't get much going in the next couple of possessions offensively, but since that time, you know, Eli Manning has been very precise in how he has thrown the football, and they've just attacked this defense every which way.
The combo held for 39 rush yards in the first meeting, 61 between Bradshaw and Jacobs today. Here's Bradshaw, and he won't get it. Good play up front by this Eagles defense, and they needed that. A loss of 1 on the play, and you see Cole's in there on the stop, but he wasn't alone.
That was a great defensive series right there by the Philadelphia Eagles, and you said it, Joe. They needed a stop. They couldn't afford to allow the Giants to go back down the field with great field position and come away with any type of points already down 24-3. Something that they have failed to do or have struggled to do throughout this game. Get off the field on 3rd down. They now have done it.
The playoff picture in the NFC is interesting to talk about. We'll do it if we get a chance. As a fair catch hauled in by Calvin inside the 10, they'll mark him at the 8. Long way to go on the field and on the scoreboard for Michael Vick, and the Eagles down 21. As you look at the playoff situation in the NFC, they're the division leaders at the top going into today. Then the 2 teams that are on top of the heap in the wild card chase. But it's not as dire for the Eagles or either team that may lose here today. Both coming in with 9 wins. We'll talk more about that after the play. The handoff is to McCoy, and he picks his way for 11. Boley on the tackle, and another little skirmish breaks out back near the original line of scrimmage. Max Gene Gillis is in there along with Bernard, but the other teams that are in that mix for the wild card spot, Tampa Bay, last time I looked up in the Fox box, they were trailing to Detroit. That game's being played in Tampa. And then Green Bay, they're without Aaron Rodgers, and they play tonight in New England, and they have 8 wins. Both of these 2 clubs come in with 9. Vick stumbles, somehow gets it to McCoy. And LeSean McCoy fights his way through a Tuck tackle momentarily. Tuck brings him down a gain of 3.
Well, the Eagles have struggled to really gain any consistency throwing the football, so they're trying to get the running game going, and they were fortunate to be able to make that exchange between Vick and McCoy. But trying now to rely a little bit more on the running game and see if they can't start picking up some first downs and gain a little bit of confidence here on the offensive side of the ball.
Penalty flag flies as Vick finds his fullback Schmidt. And Owen is wrestled forward, a tackle by Bullock. A gain of 6, but a flag thrown at the snap.
Illegal formation. Offense. The tight end was covered up at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Will replay. 2nd down.
They're going to take off the 6-yard gain. Tom Coughlin accepts the penalty, and it's 2nd and 11.
Well, you see him there. It's Brent Selleck. And he's on the ball, and so somebody then, the receiver on that side, you saw him look out. He's got to then get off the ball. And he did not. And they had too many men on the line of scrimmage, illegal formation.
2nd and 11. Here's McCoy, and initially nothing there. Then trying the right side. Phillips on the tackle, a gain of 5. And a little more manageable 3rd down coming up for Philadelphia because of the effort of LaShawn McCoy.
And because of the score, as you would expect, what we've now seen the Giants go to, something they were not doing much of there in the first half, is they're playing more coverage, giving the corners help, and just trying to ensure that they're not going to give up a big play touchdown.
Third down and 6. Vick over the middle, pass caught by Avant. Emerging as one of the better 3rd down targets around the NFL, not just the NFC. 18 yards and a 1st down.
LaShawn McCoy, he comes in and chops the feet right out from underneath Osi Umenyiora. And that play defensively, the Giants, they matched up one-on-one outside and did not give help again. And the Eagles pick up a big 1st down.
Longest pass play of the day for the Eagles, a completion of 18 yards. Here's McCoy. McGlynn out trying to block. He whiffed. And McCoy is brought down by roll after a gain of 5.
I guess what's a little bit surprising to me, Joe, here is that as much one-on-one coverage as the Giants are giving the Eagles, that they haven't yet taken a shot down the field. Now, Vick is not, as we've seen, he's not being afforded a lot of time in the pocket, but he hasn't even just dropped back 5 steps and let it go. You know, just try to run 3 or 4 verticals and take your chances with one of these speed demons on the outside. They just haven't even tried that yet.
Well, it's getting late, down 21. Inside handoff, McCoy's got a 1st down. And LaShawn McCoy is down to the 42, a run of 12. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt.
Jaguars go for it on 4th down. Indy stops them, and then the Colts, a couple of plays later, make them pay. Donald Brown, 43-yard touchdown run. And in a game that the Colts must win to keep their playoff hopes alive, they lead it 21-10. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt. Well, again, Jacksonville, if they win that game, they clinch the division. Colts have to win out to accomplish that. Here's McCoy. Room to run on the outside. And a holding call. A flag comes in late. Giants bench was calling for it.
Number 87, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
They get Selleck out on the edge of that play.
Yeah, and he's trying to block Osi Umenyiora, and this is how it happens. Right there, he's fine, but then as soon as he feels Osi Umenyiora trying to get off the block to then go make the tackle, he feels that grabs, and it's an easy one for the official to see.
Meanwhile, Deshaun Jackson, NFC Offensive Player of the Week, who had 4 catches at Dallas for 210 yards last weekend, has been shut out. That continues. Pass is complete to Macklin, a gain of 5.
Michael Vick trying to navigate pass rushers. That time Justin Tuck to get the football off to Jeremy Macklin any way possible. But you can tell this pass rush by the Giants has affected some of the play calling by Marty Morningwig and not trusting. You know, this is a fast break offense. They want to force the ball down the field, and they just have not been able to do that.
Giants are showing blitz. They all come. Vick goes behind his receiver and ends up on the ground. Macklin the intended target. And now it's 3rd and 15.
And Michael Boley, they overload that side. And they've got enough blockers there. Michael Vick's expecting King Dunlap to come out. Either he didn't pick it up or got confused on what his assignment was, but they had enough blockers had they have just communicated that a little bit better on that right side.
Here come the Giants. Offensive line picks it up. Vick throws high, incomplete for Avant. Vick had protection, but missed Jason Avant. It's 4th down.
Pretty good coverage there by Aaron Ross. That coverage is called 2-man. There's 2 safeties deep, not to give up the big play, and then it's man-to-man everywhere else. And Vick feeling pressure, got to get it out of his hands. But Aaron Ross is underneath that throw. It would have taken a heck of a throw there in order to complete that one, but one that got away didn't much matter. Just good coverage by Aaron Ross underneath the route.
This is the top 3rd down defense in the NFL. The New York Giants, they have played brilliantly defensively. That ball is illegally touched. Blackman on the return. And it was Colt Anderson who was downfield and touched the ball first after a 31-yard punt. They did throw a flag. And they can mark it back where the ball was touched as you watch 30, who has been added. Colt Anderson, special teams edition. Here's a call from John Perry.
Nobody stuck a knee out over there, though.
No, they did not.
Illegal touch of the kick on the kicking team. Number 30 went out of bounds and was the first player to touch the ball. New York is elected to tack on.
So there you go, an illegal touch on that punt. Vick's been touched all day. He's been hit a lot. There's old Spidey. It's not going to open until February 2011. One mishap after another, but they're going to crank that baby up in 2011. First down, Giants. What a play by Coleman. Talking about February 2011, the Daytona 500.
Jimmy Johnson is Cup Series champion. And Jimmy Johnson makes history tonight, winning a 5th consecutive Cup Series championship.
NASCAR season may be over, but we're already revving up for the Daytona 500, the Great American Race. It's in February, only on Fox. Second down and 12.
Pretty good stuff. 5 championships in a row, going for 6 straight.
And it's been 5 wins in a row in this rivalry for the Eagles over the Giants. That ball's out. That is a fumble recovered by Philadelphia, and a break they have desperately needed. Manningham put it on the ground.
Yeah, you kind of got the idea that if the Eagles are going to get back into this game, the defense is going to have to force some type of turnover to change momentum, and it looked like it was definitely out and in play before he got to the sideline. You see Tom Coughlin. I mean, that's the only way that the Eagles, based on what we've seen here today, how they get back in this game, is to give them a short field on a turnover, and that ball's live, and that's the Eagles football.
You see Patterson get on top of it.
Sure.
It was the rookie Jamar Chaney taking over middle linebacker on the tackle, and it's the second Giant turnover.
It's just careless with the ball. I didn't even see that Jamar Chaney even hit him. You know, I mean, he hit the ball to knock it out. It just, as he was swinging it, it just slipped out of his hand.
What a chance for the Eagles, down by 21 at the Giants 25. Play action. Vick steps up, and now he'll run. Shows off the speed and picks up a first down with a 13-yard carry.
And in addition to the Eagles defense, you know, really having to try to make a play to get this team back in it, it appears that that's what Michael Vick's going to have to be able to do, because there just has not been anywhere to go with the ball throughout this game. This time they are doubling Deshaun Jackson, and they did give up a lane, though. That time they did not control Michael Vick the way that they have throughout this game.
Only Eagle points in this game came off a turnover. Catch made, tackle immediately by Boley as he brought down Avant, a gain of 4.
Well, you've got to believe that Andy Reid is looking at this right now as 4-down territory. I don't know how they can not come away with a touchdown, or at least attempt to, on this possession.
Down by 21, under 5 to go in the third. Blitz coming. Eagles pick it up. Wide open for the touchdown, Maclin. And the first touchdown of this game for the Eagles. Well blocked. Maclin slips out free, and an 8-yard touchdown catch for Jeremy, his 9th touchdown of the year.
Pretty good design right there. You're going to see he's going to come from over here, but they go motion with Deshaun Jackson. That gets everybody thinking flow that way, and Macklin's able to come underneath Deshaun Jackson's route, and nobody goes with him.
So 64 seconds after that turnover, which was basically an unforced error by Mario Manningham, who's had a good day, 2 touchdown catches. He put it on the ground going out of bounds. Maclin and the Eagles take advantage of it, now down 14. Jeremy Maclin in his 2nd year out of Missouri, 1st-round pick last year. The 8-yard touchdown, his 9th receiving touchdown of the season. He's kind of the forgotten guy with all the focus on Deshaun Jackson. Talked to Marty Mornhinweg, he said, man, I'll take Jeremy Maclin any day. And he was just left wide open, busted coverage, and the touchdown to make it a 14-point game. Here's DJ Ware. Giants have to go back to work, and DJ Ware, pretty good kick returner. He's out across the 30, out across the 33. Here's the fumble by Manningham, just put it on the ground. 64 seconds later, Vick, Maclin, 14-point game in Jersey. Now, because of that turnover and the touchdown, just over a minute later, the Giants back trying to move it down the field, up by 14. 3rd quarter, 3:49 left. Manning with time. Jacobs dropped it, took his eye off it.
We'll go back to that touchdown and see what happened here. Terrell Thomas is trying to communicate to Corey Webster that he is not going to take Jeremy Maclin if he goes across the field. They call this banjo coverage. It was zone coverage, and he's trying to communicate it to him, but Corey Webster never sees that. He doesn't know what Terrell Thomas was trying to tell him, and he was in man coverage then with Deshaun Jackson, but that explains then why Terrell Thomas didn't stay in man coverage himself and go with Jeremy Maclin.
Instead, Maclin wide open, and now it's 2nd and 10. Here's Nix. Brought down with a 1st down at the 45. Completion of 11 yards, and now Ernie Sims is slow to get up. Traded to the Eagles from Detroit. And Kurt Coleman's grabbing his right calf. They are going down the last couple of weeks in a hurry here on this Eagles defense. Ooh. And it was Sims and Coleman who came together, and both were slow to get up, and now Coleman is the one who appears more injured.
Well, I mean, as we know, they're already thin at that position with Nate Allen. With Nate Allen going down.
And as we look at this game, which is now a 14-point game, we're back inside our broadcast booth, and we came on the air talking about the importance of this game, not just in the NFC East, but really the entire NFC playoff picture. And it's been a dominant performance to this point by the Giants until Manningham put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and Tom Coughlin, I mean, every time we do a Giants game and you ask him about the turnovers, I mean, he gets red in the face, and it's Friday. So, you can only imagine what he's thinking after that fumble by Mario Manningham. It got the Eagles right back into this ball game with a lot of time to play. The Eagles defensively, did a nice job, and now they're going to be asked to do another good job because they can't afford to give up any more points.
The Giants have given the ball away 35 times offensively. That's the most in the NFL. Here's Jacobs, no gain. I guess you can get away with that and still be fighting for a divisional lead when you take it away more than any team on defense, and that's what the Giants have done. Each side with 2 turnovers in this game. And Eli Manning with 3 touchdown passes compared to 1 interception. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, there's not too many teams in the league that can turn the ball over as many times as the Giants have, and have a winning record, let alone be playing for the divisional lead.
On 2nd down, play action, and Manning trying to find somewhere to go with it, incomplete, and it's Sims all over Brandon Jacobs.
Well, you had plenty of time to throw it, just nowhere to throw it to. And you see everybody on the field was pretty much double covered. Akeem Nicks, and then they're playing in and out there on Kevin Boss, and then on the other side of the field as well.
Eagles came in 14th in the NFL defending on 3rd down. Giants are 6 for 11. It's 3rd and 10. Blitz. Pass caught by Hagan. Samuel with a tackle to hold Hagan short of a 1st down. He's known for his interceptions, not his tackling, but he made the stop in time to prevent the 1st down.
That was a good job. A lot of times with a throw, the throw is behind Hagan, and a lot of times because of that, the momentum of the receiver will be able to make the defender miss and pick up that 1st down. Samuel, who was a little out of position trying to make the tackle, did a nice job.
Asante Samuel, who has 42 career interceptions, 7 against the Manning brothers, said he wasn't going to miss this one against Eli Manning. Made a good tackle. Calvin on the return after just a 38-yard punt. Bear Pasco on the tackle, and it's an 11-yard return. Tonight on Fox, relive a Family Guy event and journey to a land not so far away as the Griffins use the force to strike back. They'll miss a full hour of Family Guy just in time for the holidays tonight, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. After the Cleveland show on Fox, viewer discretion is advised. Here are the offensive leaders for the Eagles. Vick, a little better last time Philadelphia had it. McCoy, 62 yards. Macklin coming off a touchdown. That's the tight end, the rookie Clay Harbor, falling as he made the catch, rolls forward for 4.
That's kind of been the day for this offense here this afternoon. They are able to get the ball to Clay Harbor wide open, and if he catches it and stays on his feet, he's able to at least get a few more yards. Tuck and roll there.
Played at Missouri State, 4th round pick, and he said he never had to pass block in college. He was trying to learn that. It was his 4th catch of the season. Vick slings it sideline, 1st down, and the pass caught. There's the first of the day by Deshaun Jackson, good for 8.
Well, you can see, I mean, it's amazing how much offensive football is just about momentum and rhythm. And that turnover, again, to go back to that with Mario Manningham, and then you score a touchdown, and you feel pretty good about that, being able to punch it in. And right now, this offense is getting out of the huddle. They're getting to the line of scrimmage, and that was a nice 1st down for them.
Blitz. Handoff to McCoy. And he is knocked down after a gain of 2. Goff on the stop.
Justin Tuck has been a disruptive force throughout this game. He's battling through guys and throwing his body in there and able to make a play on LaShawn McCoy.
Well, we are through 3 quarters here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. 24-10 Giants. Eagles with the ball. Back after this from your local Fox station. Here come the Eagles, down by 14. Crowd trying to make noise. Giant sideline begging them to. It's 2nd and 8. Vick hoping to stay on a roll. And a false start.
False start. Number 87. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Brent Selleck, who led this Eagles team last year with 76 catches, has only 30. Guilty of the false start, and there are the stats through 3. Giants have been held to 58 yards rushing. They're going to need that run game to get the feeling before the end of it. 2nd and 13.
Brent Selleck's had a couple costly penalties in this game.
Earlier a hold, now a false start. This one's batted into the air, and it falls to the turf, trying to get it to Jackson.
You see the frustration there on Michael Vick's face. This is an offense that has not experienced anything like this with Michael Vick at quarterback. I mean, they've pretty much had their way against the defenses that they have faced all season long.
Blitz coming. Vick steps up, airs it out, downfield. Macklin had to wait. Broken up. Terrell Thomas. If he leads him, it's a touchdown. But Thomas had just enough time to recover.
Well, they brought the edge pressure, which forced Vick to step up, but it was Barry Cofield right in the middle that really made Vick not be able to get anything on the throw. If he had just been able to step up because of the outside pressure, he delivers a much better ball. But Barry Cofield winning in the middle is what got Vick off balance and unable to get as good an arm strength as he has, enough on the ball to get the touchdown, because they had a chance down the field.
Macklin was wide open. Terrell Thomas recovered. Here's Blackman dancing around, spinning around, survives a hit, hangs on. And after a 53-yard punt, 4-yard return, Thomas made a play. Had time to get back. Giants have it up by 14. Giants have the football in this second half. They've had it 3 times. 1 first down. They've punted twice, fumbled. And again, that ground game, which has been so good coming in, shut down the last time they played the Eagles. Here's Boss, wide open. Kevin Boss with another big second half reception. Good for 36.
A call there by Kevin Gilbride, backed up, a big lead. You go play action pass, everybody's thinking you're going to try to run the ball and take time off the clock, and Kevin Boss work in the middle of the field, just wide open. Probably doesn't have as big a gain. If Dimitri Patterson loses his feet, he would have been there to make a tackle, but it's a nice job of setting that one up there by offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride.
Jamar Chaney, the new middle linebacker there, with the tackle, a gain of 5.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at that last throw by Michael Vick, and an opportunity that was lost because of the pressure inside. You can see there on the left side of the screen, Jeremy Macklin had Terrell Thomas, beat deep, but him having to float the ball more than what he would have liked, it allowed Terrell Thomas then to get back underneath that and get a hand on the ball.
Second down and 5. Pass batted in the air and still had a shot at a completion of Manningham, incomplete. By the way, for Vick, as Foku got a hand on this pass, Vick's had 3 passes batted down or into the air, and now Manning's had a couple, latest by Moses Foku.
Quarterbacks don't like that, especially when you've got an open receiver. Hard enough completing passes in this league, when you don't have linemen jumping up and knocking the ball down.
Forced out of the pocket to his right, and he just floats it away. Incomplete. I think the interesting thing is this is a Giants offense that coming in over the last 3 games had rushed for 135 yards, 197, 213 last week in Detroit against Minnesota. This is where you would lean on a run game. And for the second consecutive meeting, the Philadelphia Eagles defense has, for the most part, shut down the Giants on the ground.
Well, and that's what's going to allow the Eagles to have a chance in this game. But, you know, they've got to be able to do it on the offensive side of the ball as well.
So the Giants get it. There's still just under 13 minutes left in the half. And that ball will head into the end zone. The Eagles will start at their 20. 12:48 remaining. Here comes Vic, down by 14. We look ahead to next week. It's a doubleheader day on Fox. There are the early games at the top, and then America's Game of the Week. The Giants at the Packers, Seahawks, and Bucks. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Packers play tonight without Aaron Rodgers at New England. They're behind Chicago in the north. Bears play on Monday outdoors in Minneapolis. Vic wide open. Deshaun Jackson. And that ball came out when Jackson hit the turf. Was he touched? Right now it's a fumble. And it belongs to the Giants. Kenny Phillips on the recovery. And let's take another look at this replay. Jackson is touched there on his way to the ground, and the ball comes out. I think this is something that Andy Reid will throw the red flag on.
Jonathan Goff, since the receiver was never down by contact by touch. Recovered by New York. 1st and 10, New York.
They're saying that the receiver was never touched down by contact. You can see Goff get the back of Jackson on his way to the ground. And there's no challenge flag thrown by Andy Reid. He should throw it.
There's no question he should throw it. He's waiting right now to try to determine if he's going to. He's only challenged 6 calls all year. I'm shocked he's not challenging this. He's got it in his hand.
Unbelievable. Jacobs over the left side. A gain of 5.
You know, it's a little bit like Eli Manning's fumble the last time these two teams played there in the 4th quarter. You know, he went to the ground trying to give himself up, but he had not been touched. You know, he was clearly touched on this one, and there's no doubt in my mind that Philadelphia maintains possession if Andy Reid had challenged that call. I don't know why he didn't.
I agree. He's got to throw the red flag, and he's never been shy to throw it. And he's not a guy who doesn't take a chance hoping for a reversal, and that is a miss. Here's Boss. Forced out of bounds, but another completion to Kevin Boss. This one good for 15. Watch the right hand of Goff. Jackson on his way down is touched up the back. Then the ball came out when he hit the ground. In the last meeting, down by 7, Eli Manning didn't slide. He went head first and wasn't touched. So it was a fumble, and any chance that the Giants had of coming back in that game, his chances were over right there.
Well, it looked like Andy Reid was trying to get word from up top, but he never got it.
Jacobs.
And up top, I'm referring to someone within the Eagles organization, whoever is responsible for helping him make that determination as to whether he's going to challenge a call.
And now Asante Samuel and Brandon Jacobs start to shove each other. I mean, the only explanation for not throwing that flag is to say that the Eagles believed that Jackson wasn't going to the ground, and that wasn't part of the play with him going to the turf before the ball popped out, but I would disagree with that.
Yeah, I just don't think that Andy ever had anybody tell him it should be challenged. He didn't see it well enough to be able to determine that himself.
Here's Ahmad Bradshaw, wrestled to the ground by Sims. A gain of 3. It's 3rd and 2. But either way, I mean, you want them to take another look and hope that you catch a break. You're down by 14 points. You're trying to gain more momentum going forward. And we are attempting to check in with Mike Pereira to get his view from out in Los Angeles. It's 3rd and 2 here for the Giants. And coming across early was the rookie Chaney.
Encroachment. Number 51, defense. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Too aggressive on the blitz. And it's a first down with a penalty. Ball is placed inside the 15. This is a Philadelphia Eagles defense that is last in the NFL in defending the red zone. Coming in, opponents had been in 36 times, scored 28 touchdowns. Just under 80%. Giants are 1 for 2 today. Brandon Jacobs for a couple over the left side. Let's check in with Mike Pereira. Mike, what did you see on that fumble as it was ruled by Deshaun Jackson?
Well, I see you got to challenge that. Now, I'm thinking, was Philly thinking about the fact that he just touched the hand warmer muff in the back, because that wouldn't have put him down. But the hand does slide down the back. That's the thing that would have put him down. And I really don't know why they didn't challenge it either.
I'm glad you saw the same thing we did, and yet Andy Reid put the red flag back in his pocket. That is a mistake by our judgment and a missed opportunity for Reid on what was the biggest play to Deshaun Jackson all day.
Yeah, and I will say this. I mean, the rules are what they are, and you accept that as a head coach. But I will say that for not only Andy Reid, but all head coaches around the league, they got enough to worry about during the course of a game. I've always maintained it should not be the head coach's responsibility to determine whether or not a play should be challenged. I mean, they're trying to be a head coach and get their own team, to play, and they shouldn't then have to have the responsibility of making sure the officials are getting calls right on the field also.
It's 3rd and 5. Manning over the middle. Boss, touchdown.
Well, we were talking about the young rookie Jamar Chaney. This is one right here. He just passes him up, lets him go by him because he sees a crossing route coming in front of him. And it opened up the throwing lane for Kevin Boss, uncontested. Quentin Michael, you see him there. But Jamar Chaney, the middle linebacker, has to carry that up the seam.
It's a 4-touchdown day for Eli Manning. 1 to Nix, 2 to Manningham, and now the 5th of the year receiving by Kevin Boss over the middle. The big tight end. Touchdown pass number 28 on the season for Manning. And the Giants back up 21. How about the day for Eli Manning? His latest one to Kevin Boss. Eli ties his career high with 4 touchdown throws in this game. Has set a new career high with 28 touchdown passes on the year. With 2 games to go. They're at Green Bay, then at Washington. But in this battle against Philadelphia, we said it in the first half. It's still true. Eli Manning has outplayed Michael Vick. Here's Jordan Calvin out to the 25. What a turn of events. The fumble by Deshaun Jackson. That's how it was called on the field. Andy Reid did not challenge. Flag back in the pocket, and then Eli and Boss did the rest. Well, there you go, Eli Manning. Yeah, he's had the interceptions, but 1 in this game. He's tied his career high in that category, but set a new career high in touchdown passes for this season with 28. 2 games to go. Told you the Giants schedule. They are at Green Bay, at Washington. The Eagles have a seemingly easier road at home against Minnesota, at home against Dallas. Here's Maclin. He has got a first down, it would appear. He does. Wrestled down by Umenyiora. Out there for the tackle on Jeremy Maclin.
Well, give Perry Fewell, defensive coordinator, some credit. He's still bringing the heat and doing the things that they've done throughout this game.
On first down, pass to Selleck. A whiff on the tackle by Phillips, and Selleck gets a block and will cruise in for the touchdown. Maclin with a good block after Kenny Phillips missed on the tackle. And in a blink, the Philadelphia Eagles are in a position to again be down by only 14.
Yeah, well, they brought the blitz again. They did on first down, and they did again off the edge. Aaron Ross, 31, and the Eagles pick it up. But then it's just man-to-man on the back end. And Kenny Phillips, he's playing middle of the field, and when you throw the ball down the middle, as they do here to Brent Selleck, that's the play. You know, Kenny Phillips goes for it thinking it's going to be an interception. Brent Selleck's there to catch the ball, and that's the one thing that Tom Coughlin didn't want to see happen.
A career long for Selleck, 65 yards, and it's a 14-point game again with 7.5 to go.
You know, they continue to maintain their aggressiveness even with the lead. And they didn't want to get conservative and just play coverage, not giving up the big play. Clearly, that's the MO defensively. And they had a, you know, even though they were one-on-one on the outside, the guy who ends up beating them for the touchdown and the big play is Brent Selleck. But as I said, Kenny Phillips is right there, and he should have been there to, if nothing else, make the tackle.
You know, in an era where all you hear about are receivers who demand the football. We talked to Michael Vick about Selleck. He led the Eagles last year with 76 receptions. He had only 30 coming in. Last week, Vick said he had been feeling that pressure to try and get the ball to Selleck because he's blocking, he's doing everything he should do. Selleck's a real good young tight end in this league, and Vick forced one to him last week at Dallas that went for an interception, and Selleck immediately came over to the bench and talked to Vick and said, hey, I know you're trying to force it to me. Don't do it. Just let it happen naturally. Vick really appreciated it. And now, a week later, he's got a 65-yard
action and handle it the way that he has. It's been admirable.
Here's an onside kick try, and it's hauled in. It is a good play. It belongs to the Eagles. Riley Cooper, the rookie out of Florida, and a perfect onside kick from David Akers.
And the Giants were not anticipating that at all. They were turning and running out. You see, they just now come into the screen because at the time that Akers started to address the football, they were turning and running, anticipating the deep kickoff. And it was just a perfect kick also by David Akers.
It's got to go 10 yards. It did. And the Eagles, who are seconds off that 65-yarder to Selleck, pressure by Umenyiora, forced Vick to get rid of it. Michael Vick is number 2 all time among quarterbacks running the football. First is Randall Cunningham, then Michael Vick. And he is over 500 yards rushing for the season. 2nd and goal. Wrestled down by Tuck. Ball came out. They're calling the play dead. Gene Gillis gets on top of it anyway, but a flag thrown early. John Perry will give us the call. He's been busy, today's referee.
It looked like the Eagles might have been trying to signal that it was on the Giants.
Selleck does that right now.
At the snap, offside, defense, number 91. lined up in the neutral zone at the snap. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
So they get Tuck, who was the one who made the play. And it's second and goal. They will move the football inside the 5.
The Eagles scored the last time they played the Giants on the quarterback draw. They tried to go with it on that last play, but because of these blitzes that the Giants keep showing, there's not going to be a lot of places for Michael Vick to run.
Here they come again. Quick throw, and it's knocked down. 4th time that's happened. Vick has had a pass knocked down 4 times in this game.
Well, there's a lot of bodies right there in the middle of the field, and that's where they're trying to bring the pressure on this last play, and that's hard. It's hard throwing those slants down here, the inside slants to those inside receivers down in the red zone at this part of the field, and then especially with all the bodies that are stacked in the middle.
Rocky Bernard made that play. It's 3rd and goal. Quarterback draw, touchdown Philly. And we are an extra point away from a 7-point game.
Well, they do a good job with the draw because instead of Michael Vick trying to take it up the middle where the linebackers are, Boley, they take it off tackle. So it's a little bit like an off tackle handoff to a tailback, only they're doing it with Michael Vick at quarterback. They pull Max Gene Gillis, the right guard, a design draw and design run by Michael Vick, but an off-tackle run.
That's 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes after the onside kick by Akers, who makes it a 7-point game. That for Michael Vick ties a career high, his 8th rushing touchdown. Set that mark back in 2002 with the Falcons. There's the onside kick. Riley Cooper on the receiving end, and at the end of the drive, Michael Vick goes in untouched and then unleashes some of his frustration firing the ball off that back wall after he got the touchdown. Coughlin's frustrated. This one has to feel on that sideline like it's starting to slip away. It was a 21-point game a couple of different times. Giants led by 21 at the half, led by 21 with 7:29 left in this game. And now 2 minutes later, it's a 7-point game.
With 5.5 minutes to play.
Wow.
You know, and now, and you said it earlier in the game, Joe, what the Giants, what they would like to be able to do and what they have been able to do is hand the ball to Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs and let them pile up first downs and run this clock down. But they've had a hard time running the football in this game. And so Eli Manning will likely need to continue to do what he has done and be pretty precise throwing the football.
Line drive kick by Akers, and on a hop, DJ Ware. DJ Ware with a good return. Out just shy of the 35. Look at the snap from McGlynn on that touchdown run by Vick. Little one-handed grab. McGlynn's been kind of all over the place, these shotgun snaps. And then Vick took care of the rest. It was his long run of 35 yards that got him down there. From the 35, pass is caught. What a throw. And the combination with Manning and Manningham's been good all day.
That's as good as it gets right there. This is so good. Eli Manning, I mean, great coverage. You can't cover that any better than what Dimitri Patterson did. It's just great timing between two guys. They've been doing it throughout this game. I mean, Eli Manning is really playing lights out. You know, for a game that he had to play well in to give his team a chance. And without the support of the running game that he's typically afforded, he's been outstanding.
Now to the ground with Bradshaw. Room to run and a nice pickup of 7. Ahmad Bradshaw brought down by Chaney, and we're under 5 to go. That for Manningham. You saw his first 100-yard receiving day of the season, 3rd career. And he's got 2 touchdowns, does have that fumble. It kind of gave life to the Eagles in this second half, led to their first touchdown. 2nd and 3. Bradshaw. A yard short of a first down. And Philadelphia will take a timeout. Their first. So Bradshaw with a couple of runs, and it will be 3rd down and a yard after the timeout. On Friday, January 7th, it's one of the most anticipated bowl games of the season as the LSU Tigers take on Texas A&M in a rivalry that's over 110 years old. Our exclusive coverage of this 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic live from Cowboys Stadium begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, January 7th in high def, only on Fox. 3rd down and 1.
We'll see what happens here on 3rd down. The Giants have been good throughout this game.
Toss to Bradshaw, running right, 1st down and a big one for Ahmad Bradshaw.
They stack the bodies inside. They motion Michael Clayton down, and he gets a good block then that secures the edge and allows Ahmad Bradshaw to pick up that 1st down. You see, he comes down there and he gets the block on Jaquay Parker. A nice execution there by the New York Giants.
So now Philadelphia spends their 2nd timeout. And for Ahmad Bradshaw, who came in with 13 runs of 20 yards or more, highest total in the NFL, he's not a big-bodied guy, but he is somebody we've talked about over the last few weeks. If you need a tough couple of yards, he's a good pick, and that was a huge 1st down. Picked up on the toss to Bradshaw.
They do get a little nervous, though, in these types of games with Ahmad Bradshaw, and Kevin Gilbride will tell you that there's a little angst when he has it because he has had a propensity to put it on the ground.
That's why he lost his starting job. Bradshaw running left. Both arms around the football. On the left side, gets 4, and the Eagles will use their final timeout. It's to the Eagles' credit that they stayed alive in this ball game. They got the onside kick and now trying to take advantage of it. And so for Sean McDermott and this Philadelphia Eagles defense, which is young, they've had all these injuries, here they are, a 2nd down where they've got to make a stop on this series.
Yeah, they've got to be able to make a stop. Give the New York Giants some credit offensively for the job that they've done throughout this game, but also in light of the defense giving up a few big plays, the Eagles getting right back into this ball game, and now to get this ball where they did and to be able to get some 1st downs and take some time off the clock. This has been an impressive drive from my perspective for the New York Giants and what they've been able to do here.
Eagles now are out of timeouts, so they can no longer challenge a play outside of 2 minutes when it goes to the booth. And that's Dave Deal, the left tackle.
False start. Number 66. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
David, who's in his 2nd game back after a hip and a hamstring injury. He came back last week against the Vikings in that big running day. Out at left tackle and guilty of a false start.
Yeah, and it was all because Eli Manning was trying to get Bear Pasco moved from the fullback position, lined up somewhere else, and those linemen get a little antsy down here in this situation. They start hearing things. They can't decipher whether or not it's a snap count or him just trying to check out.
Bradshaw. Not much. On second down, picks up 3. And these two teams have been doing this since the beginning. Knocking each other after the play. Bradshaw took it to the 41, 3rd and long coming up. And the Eagles are out of timeouts. 3rd and 8.
Now it's an NFC East heavyweight fight in both of these teams, and they understand what's at stake. And right now, whoever wins this game takes the lead, a 1-game lead in the division.
Giants are not in field goal range for Tynes. Blitz. Manning off his back foot, incomplete. And not only does this Eagles defense force a punt, but on 3rd down, an incomplete pass to stop the clock.
Well, that's as demonstrative as I've ever seen. Eli Manning, he gets the pressure there from Coleman, and he gets the ball out, but he clearly was expecting a break off by one of his wide receivers and didn't get it.
And now Deshaun Jackson is back there along with Macklin for the punt from Matt Dodge, the rookie. End over end, fair catch. Macklin. So 3 minutes, 1 second left. No timeouts, and here comes Vic. In this second half, the wide open touchdown throw for 8 yards to Macklin. The 65-yarder to Brent Selleck. The 35-yard run to set up the quarterback draw and the touchdown. Last time the Eagles had it to make it a 7-point game. It's up to this Giants defense for New York, which for the most part has played well this afternoon to secure the win.
You see what the Giants do here defensively right now. They're showing pressure again. They've been constant with it.
Vic. Selleck too low. Running wide open, but the pass down around his knees.
Yeah, they had a chance to Brent Selleck, and Perry Fewell, I mean, he has not wavered from what they came into this game doing. They're still bringing Aaron Ross. They're still bringing the blitzes off the slot, and they're matching up man-to-man, one-on-one outside. And he's just saying that our guys are going to get to Michael Vick, and we're going to hold up.
Vick unloads, incomplete for Deshaun Jackson, and it was Cofield who was on his back. 3rd and 10.
Just a heavy diet of pressure all day long, and Barry Cofield, in addition to the others, he's played awfully well.
Third and 10. Blitz. Vick. Room to run. Big first down. Michael Vick across the 40 and knocked out shy of the 45. They're going to give him progress to the 45, a 33-yard run.
Well, they had pressure to keep him in the pocket, but you're going to see, I think it was Aaron Ross who then tried to come underneath. You're going to see it right here, but he tries to come under the block there of Jason Peters. It was Aaron Ross. Had he have stayed upfield and been able to keep Michael Vick in containment, he's not then able to get out to his left, which is what the defense did not want to allow throughout this game.
Vick over 100 yards in this game. 6th time in his career he's been to that mark. Over the middle of the field, pass is complete for a first down to Avant. Under 2.5 to go. 13-yard completion.
Yeah, Vic's moving a little bit slow. Jason Pierre-Paul got a hit on him at the end of that play.
Good protection, and another one batted down, and it's Jason Pierre-Paul. The rookie's done that twice. #15th overall selection, first round out of South Florida, was there for just a semester. Relatively new to the game, learning basic terminology, but he is becoming a pass rushing force on the edge. 2nd and 10. Extra men on the rush again. Vic right up the gut. Michael Vick inside the 25, down head first inside the 20. And with 1:58 remaining, down by 7. Catch your breath. We'll take a break. First down for the Eagles when we come back. We have a new audience that just joined us. If you're looking at the score, you would have no idea how this game has unfolded. This was a game dominated by the Giants in this battle for the top spot in the NFC East. Look at the numbers now for Vic as they are piling up in this second half. Eagles trailed by 21 points with 7:29 left in this game. They're down by 7 and have the ball first down at the Giants 20. We just had the 2-minute warning. Eagles have no timeouts left, and here is Selleck twisted down with a gain of 7.
Well, the Giants went to coverage that time, but until that play, it has been consistent throughout this drive, and it's a high-risk, high-reward defensive philosophy that Perry Fewell has been running all day long.
Well, we've seen the risk late in this game. We haven't seen much of the reward because Vic has gotten loose. 2nd and 3. Here they come again on a blitz. Pass wide open, caught. Maclin, touchdown!
Well, Sean McCoy does a good job in the backfield of helping out with protection. You see, he picks up the blitz there one-on-one then on the outside, and you've just got to be able to try to make that tackle in the open field against Maclin. Not an easy thing to do. Terrell Thomas, who has had himself a heck of a day, just unable then to make the play.
In 6 minutes and 14 seconds off the clock, 3 touchdowns put up by the Eagles. And if you're just joining us, there was an onside kick executed by Philadelphia. This to tie it. Akers hasn't missed one all year. And with 1:16 left, 3 timeouts, the Giants will get it in a tie game. And here's the touchdown to Maclin, his 2nd of the day and 10th of the year.
Well, for the Giants, they still have all 3 timeouts. And obviously a lot of time to try to get down in a position for David Akers to kick the game-winning field goal. Tynes, I'm sorry.
Tynes, who has tied his career long with a 53-yard kick this season. That would mean taking it to the 35-yard line. It happened at Dallas on October 25th. So you have to get it to the 35 to get into that exact range. And again, plenty of time left. The Giants have had no problems moving the football, but they have done it today as opposed to how they've done it the last 3 weeks through the air. The running game has been, for the most part, contained by the Philadelphia defense.
Well, it seems almost fitting that these two teams, for what they're playing for and what's at stake, that it comes down to this, and it's almost just as fitting that it's going to be on the shoulders of Eli Manning, considering the day that he has had here.
He's thrown for 4 touchdowns to tie a career high. Line drive kick. And DJ Ware will get it on 2 bounces. Room to run. Good return by Ware. Foku on the tackle, but a return of 21 yards by DJ Ware. This has been a physical game since the beginning. Giants and Eagles, this rivalry. One of 4 touchdowns thrown by Eli Manning. 1 of 2 to Macklin on the Eagles side. There's the onside kick into the arms of Riley Cooper. The second to last touchdown, a run by Vick. This one out of his left hand to Macklin to tie it. Blitz. Giants pick it up and the pass into the turf looking for Hagan. Well, I think coming into this game, Troy, you look at the stats, and a lot of people can throw out the stats, but you look at this Eagles team, the offense, the #1 offense in the NFL. The questions are about this defense, and they suffered 2 big injuries last week. They lost Nate Allen here this afternoon to a knee injury, and now they're on the field with the Giants trying to get into field goal range to win it.
Well, this was a defense at one time that would thrive in these situations.
Manning over the middle for Boss, nearly picked off by Michael. And Quentin Michael, who had his 3rd of the year, almost rolled away with a big takeaway.
Boy, he sure did, and they're trying to beat that coverage down the middle with Kevin Boss again, and you know, that gets a little bit dicey for a quarterback when you're fitting it in with a safety who's staring you down. Quentin Michael, who, as you said, had the interception earlier in the game, a great reception for that interception, just unable to make the play on that ball.
This is an Eagles defense that leads the NFL with 23 interceptions. 3rd and 10. And now Eli Manning will take a sack. Maybe a question about weights. And it's a line drive kick. Jackson bobbles it and now has to try and recover. Deshaun Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding? Deshaun Jackson still not in, and now in for the touchdown. No flags. Unbelievable. No time left. Eagles win.
See Tom Coughlin, it looks like he went right to Matt Dodge and was asking him what he was doing. He had been asked to kick it out of bounds.
That is incredible. It's a 65-yard return. It was an awful punt, a line drive. Jackson bobbled it and then let blocks get set up, picked his way through the Giants, got a block late, and then took it up the goal line before going into the end zone. There's no time remaining, and with that stunning ending, the Philadelphia Eagles come all the way back and are going to win this game. That makes Philadelphia 10-4. They've now swept the season series against the Giants. They're going to make the Eagles kick the extra point. But it just adds to the misery here for Tom Coughlin, who immediately went to his rookie punter, Matt Dodge, and talked to him about the punt, which was on a line right to Deshaun Jackson, which is impossible to explain. Deshaun Jackson is one of the few big play home run hitters returning punts, and how the Giants let Deshaun Jackson get his hands even on the football, let alone return it for 65 yards, and the game-winning score is absolutely not to be explained.
You can't explain it, Joe. Tom Coughlin wants an explanation, but he's not going to get one.
And this is to make it a 7-point game, and that's it. This game was 24-10 Eagles trailing entering the fourth quarter, and then the Eagles went off. Akers with that onside kick, a part of it, and Philadelphia wins this. Let's go down to the field and Pam Oliver.
What were you saying? No worries?
No words, no words. I ain't got nothing to say right now, no words.
Try to come up with something for me, okay?
I fumbled the ball, man. I don't know what I'm doing out there, but hey, I picked it up. It gave me a little bit of time. That's a beautiful game, man. I promise, going into halftime, I didn't even think this could be possible, man. I just want to say, Pops, man, R.I.P., man. I miss you, man. It's for you, baby.
What does this say about the Eagles?
Hey, we're a dominant team. I mean, down 3-24 and come back and win. That's unbelievable, man. I ain't got no more words. I'm good.
All right, appreciate that. For no words, he had a lot of them.
The last touchdown is the last of 4 touchdowns scored in 7 minutes 28 seconds. And we talked about this rivalry. Remember this? The miracle at the Meadowlands. Next door, Herman Edwards with that fumble return for a touchdown, which went for the improbable win. And now here, this is at least a little bit more controlled, where you've got a punter who somehow kicks a line drive to Deshaun Jackson. And again, 4 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes 28 seconds. And in regulation, the Philadelphia Eagles win it by 7. They're 10-4, and it is a giant collapse by New York here in New Meadowlands Stadium. Back after this.